Hello, 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 hello. You're welcome to this week's Market Watch. So, Market Watch is the analysis session of the Smart Investors Lodge, where we find out what the market is going to do next at the beginning of every week. So, if you want to go beyond the charts, if you're looking for numbers and triggers, that is going to inform you on the next decisions that the market is going to make and how you should also position to make the most of this market. Market Watch is always where you should be. And right here on today's show, I have no other person but the man who always take us to the technicals of what the market does next. No other person but Mr. Anthony Odinaka. Mr. Anthony, how do you do? Happy New Week.
Yeah, same to you. Same to you, the smart investor. I'm really good. I'm excited. I'm really excited to be.
This seems to be a very, very interesting week. And I think beyond even perception, if you look at the numbers on Wednesday this week, we are anticipating the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. And I know the major question almost everybody right there is asking is what will be this week decision? Do we have a rate cut or do we have a pause? And I think we are going to do justice to this. Will we have a pause? Will we have a cut? Or, whatever, will we even have a more aggressive rate hike? I see this question is asked almost by everybody, and I realize there is something everybody is almost forgetting. There is something almost everybody is forgetting. Why should you be asking me what does the first do does next? Are we going to have a pause? Will we have a cut or will we have a hike? Sometimes I think these answers are always quite obvious for us to see. So, what then is everybody forgetting? We are going to dive into it at the end of today's session, and we will not just let you know what the market is going to do next. We'll not just let you know what will be the Fed decision. On Wednesday, we are going to let you know because at the end of the day, it's not just about federal rate decision. It's about liquidity flow and it's about positioning. And so at the end of today's show, we are going to help everybody, anticipate the federal, reserve rate decision. Also, let you know where the rate is going to flow to, and also how you could position your portfolio as well to take advantage of what will be happening this week on the market. And so, if you're gaining value or you get or okay, I see somebody's asking some questions. So, by the way, feel free, use the comment section if you have questions, while the show is on. Ask your question. We are going to do our best to answer this question. And then, without further ado, I think there is something very interesting we always look at, as always is, we always look out for the three market events that you should watch out for, and then we dive into the technicals of the market, and then forecast, more of price prediction for the new week, and then we're going to dive into very, very important matters. So, without further ado, let's look at the three market events we are all watching out for as smart investors and also members of the Smart Investors Lodge. By the way, I think that was yesterday. There were a lot of token unlock. There were a lot of token unlock which happened yesterday, Sunday. But today, we also have Arbitrum token set to also have an unlock. So Arbitrum will release about 92.6 million of their token, which is about 1.9% of its circulating supply. So, of course, you should watch out for potential sell pressure. And why should you watch out for potential sell pressure? Don't forget, there is going to be an increase in supply. So, if the supply is always higher than the demand, it always leads to a short-term price sell-off. And that is why whenever there is always token unlock, you see in most cases, we always anticipate a price sell-off. So what should you do if this happen? It could also present to you as a smart investor a smart entry for long-term position, as the market dips. market dips is always an opportunity for you to buy at discounted prices. So for those who have Arbitrum in their token, by the way, I think Arbitrum is positioned as more like a utility, blockchain and also token in the market. So for smart investors who have Arbitrum as part of their portfolio, I think Arbitrum token on lock, if it present that price sell off, is your opportunity, to buy at discounted price. And second on our list is the StackNet token version 2. Staking version 2 is going live. StackNet is one of the assets we are hodling at the Smart Investors Lodge, and not just for the short to mid-term. Stacknet is personally for me one of my long-term positions I am holding. And so by the way, so a major upgrade with Stacknet is happening at Block Attestation, and this is more like a revamp and reward system. So the Stacknet version 2 going live, its goal is to improve staking mechanism and also drive fresh demand, for stagnant, demand. At the end of the day, we may experience something that is called utility season, which is still part of the niche-based alt season, or the selective alt season. I'm giving you guys different terms to help you anticipate what the market is going to do. And then, last but not the least, happening on Wednesday is the federal interest rate decision. This is the most talked about, activity happening this week in the market. And by the way, I think you should pay attention, and let me let you know how the federal rate interest rate decision is going to play, and how you should position regardless of the outcome. So the major question everybody is asking is, what do you think is going to be the outcome of Wednesday federal rate decision? Will it be a pause? Will it be a hike? you know, or will we have a cut? First of all, if you ask me, I think that it's time that the Federal Reserve start cutting rates. And many persons may say, oh, I think that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rate on Wednesday. Why? This is because, one, Donald Trump has mounted enough pressure on the Federal Reserve that it's time for them to cut rates. The second reason will be, after last week's CPI data came out, lower than even anticipated. Let me tell you how very, very interesting last week's CPI data was. For those of you who have followed how we price in macroeconomics to cryptocurrencies, and how we have always used this to anticipate what the Fed does next, something happened with last week's CPI data that is so important to every investor. Something happened that is so important to every investor. From when inflation was at 9%, and we used to say, when will the Fed start cutting rate? And we'll be like, look, the Fed said they will do anything possible until they have inflation under control. And 2.5% has always been their target. 2.5% have always been their target. But guess something that happened? Something happened last week. We were at 2.4%. 2.4%. And first of all, I think that the Federal Reserve share deserves some applause to take inflation to the rate he has always anticipated that we should be below. But now, Donald Trump went ahead and made the tweets that he was like, hey, it's time the Federal Reserve start cutting rate. 2.4% is so great, and we want 100 basis point cut. The question is, will we have rate cut, and not just rate cut, will we have 100 basis point cut? These are some things I want you all to understand. These are some things I want you all to understand as smart investors. First of all, I always want you to think smartly. What makes a person smart is actually your ability to think. It's your ability to think that is the foundation of being smart and asking questions. You think by asking questions. And so, this is something I want us to look at now. Do we think it's time for the Fed to start cutting rates? And if they do, is 100 basis points worth cutting? First of all, I want you to know that the Fed moves in small steps. The Fed historically always move in small steps, 20, 25 basis points or 50 basis points. So a 100 basis point cut is too aggressive. And if we're looking at policy debate, if we're looking at policy debate, we don't have a reason for the Feds to give us 100 basis points. There is no reason at all because we don't have data to back 100 basis points. The economy is not in an emergency to warrant 100 basis point cut. So 100 basis point is entirely out of the picture. So, but let's assume that the Feds, they are pressured by the president, and then they have 100 basis point. What should we expect? We will have a lot of liquidity start flowing into the cryptocurrency market, and also the stock market will stand as a beneficiary for that. However, this will also mean that there is risk of inflation coming back. So, looking at all of these thoughts, the question is what should we expect the Feds to do? Should they have a rate cut? One. The next thing is, if we will have a rate cut, will it be aggressive? And first of all, I think that we have enough handwriting on the board. I used to tell you guys when we go into the macroeconomics and we are looking at what the Fed does, it's about numbers and also playing a poker game. A poker game is you're looking for clues, you're looking for body language from the Federal Reserve share. You're looking for clues, you're looking for body language. And Jerome Powell has let us know that there is still risks of inflation coming back due to the tariff war of Donald Trump. There is risks of inflation coming back due to the tariff war of Donald Trump. So there are two things we anticipate on Wednesday. There is more of a higher chance, there is a way higher chance that we are going to see a rate pause. Rates will be left unchanged. Why? Because the Federal Reserve chair will want to really look at numbers. He will really want to observe because he does not want to risk cutting rates and bring back inflation problems. And there is a very lesser chance that we are going to receive rate cuts. And even if a rate cut is going to come, we are not seeing any aggressive rate cut of even 50 or 100 basis points. It's likely 2025. But moving into the market, this is what I want you to anticipate. This is how you go into the market with probability base. Probability base. First of all, you take a decision where the numbers and data favors more. So was the Feds, what will their clues favors that we are going to have a rate pause, which is things will be left unchanged. And if things will be left unchanged, how will the market react? First of all, regardless, the market is going to react. Regardless. And how will the market react? I rather think that this time around, we are going to see more of utility based altcoins react, which means there will be a little bit of liquidity flow. However, I don't see us having a rate hike at all. Like there's no chance of a rate hike at all. But if there will be a cut, it will be a 25 basis point. But the chances of us having 25 basis points is almost like, let me say, 20%. But what we will have is a pause. And what this makes us know at the end of the day is that if you look at what's happening, the only thing stopping some aggressive rate cuts right now is the Donald Trump tariff war. However, we are beginning to see we are beginning to see China, a deal is almost made. And if you look at what's happening, the market is positioning, and with inflation coming under control, the market is positioning. Most alts are building momentum for one last surge. And I think that we are almost at the face of the market where we have one more dance, one more parabolic rise, before we call it almost a day. But then, regardless of what's going to happen in the market, yeah, the smart investors lost. Just like we were able to anticipate, and we let you know 16, 17K was the bottom, 24K was the beginning of a bull run. When we anticipated rate cut and it happened, we say we are officially in the beginning of a bull market. We called almost every move the market made to over $100,000. At $110,000, we call the short-term bear market that took us down to 74K. 74K we say, hey, it has bottom and we are anticipating a continuation that took us to where the price is. One thing I am letting everybody in the premium smart investors lodge community know is this: we may not be able to help you get out of every token at the top, but one thing that is sure is that we will be able to let everybody know when there is general weakness in the market and look, the market had top, and so you reevaluate your investment portfolio, and every because at the end of the day, it is not always what you make, but what you keep that count. And these are the three markets event we are watching out for. I was able to dissect heavily into the federal rate decision because this is the most talked about events happening in the market this week. And if you understand what's going on for yourself, you'll be able to, with a large level of accuracy, anticipate what the Federal Reserve are going to do on Wednesday. You'll be able to anticipate what the market does, where prices will go, and how you can position your investment portfolio as well. And so, a recap of the three market event we are watching out for. Today is the Arbitrum token unlock. Tomorrow is the Stacknet staking version 2 going live. And also on Wednesday, the federal rate, interest rate decision. And without further ado, it's time we dive into the technicals for the new trading and investing week. Mr. Anthony, are you ready for us technically?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you very much, the Smart Investor, for giving us a very, very in-depth analysis as to what to expect in the market. So, yeah, once again, let me share my screen here. Once again, just like you said, my name is Anthony Odinaka, and I'm going to be giving you, quickly going to be giving you a technical rundown of the top five cryptocurrency. Focus on Bitcoin, more focus on Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is the big boy that drives the market. So, but before then, let me show you guys something we were talking about previously, which was last Monday. So we're actually anticipating falls. We are actually anticipating falls back to 2K. We anticipated that, which was really good. We saw that happening in the market, but the market is looking bullish. We are not in the clear yet. So we are seeing bullishness from let me get my brush here so that, excuse me. Okay. So we are bullish. Uh, if you're trading, make sure you're very careful because there's still resistance to look out for in this market. So let me bring up my brush. So we are seeing that the market is slowly heading higher. Okay, this was a strong sell off all the way to 102K. So we anticipated that. We're saying, okay, once price hits here, we are saying the sales are not really clear yet. The sellers are not done. We are saying that, okay, from here, buyers are coming in. I still expect more buys this week. So we are going to be seeing a wave all the way to 109K. There's a very strong possibility we might see that. But these buyers are going to be coming in weak. I anticipate weak buyers this week. That's what I anticipate, all the way to 109K. So from this 109K, except just like Mr. Gilbert said, we've clearly been looking at what we should anticipate on Wednesday, which are the interest rate numbers. So it's clear even as much as Trump is pushing for rate cut, which is impossible for the Fed to do at this point in time. So even if we get, let's say, a moderate rate cut somewhere around 25 basis points to 50 basis points, we are likely to see a push above this 109K. So, but for now, in as much as we are anticipating some of weak bullish movement in the market this week, I don't expect a break above this 109K. I still expect price to hang around and then fall back down to at least 102, 103K. Then from these areas, I'll be expecting buyers to come in stronger. I'll be expecting buyers to come in strong from these areas. Permits me there. So from buyers to come in strong, push prices to push price, okay, to prices higher. So, but for this week, looking at from this 4 hour time frame, I expect bullishness all the way to 109K. So if this trade is likely in waves. It's likely going to be coming in waves. So we anticipated, because right now Bitcoin is closely acting up with Bitcoin dominance. So as Bitcoin is heading higher, we are going to be seeing Bitcoin dominance coming a little bit lower, which means odds are going to be, we are going to be seeing some surge from odds, probably 15-10% this week. We're going to be seeing some really nice moderate moves from altcoin this week, if you know what you're doing as a trader. So that's for since we are anticipating bullishness for Bitcoin, I'm going to be anticipating bullishness for other alts as well. So quickly, we're going to be looking at ETH as well. Let's look at Ether, Ethereum, UST. All right. So for Ether, we are seeing that Ether range, this has been a side movement that has been going on for close to, if I'm not mistaken, now, if I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks. So I hope my network will permit me. So these areas have held nicely. These areas have held nicely. So the support has been holding, the resistance has been holding for ETH. So it's good, which means we are anticipating, which means there's a build up happening. Okay, 24 to somewhere around 2,650, 2,700, 2,750. We are seeing that range is happening. So there's a build up. So okay, for this, what I'm actually anticipating for Ether is a move back to the resistance, probably challenge and then come back down, except we see rate cut. This, I faith that this resistance is going to hold, and then price falling back down to the support. Saying that we anticipate bullishness, just like we're anticipating bullishness for Bitcoin, we are also anticipating bullishness for Ether, but all the way back to the resistance. It might come to challenge this 2.8 area, which is very possible. But then when we start seeing from Bitcoin from around 109K, then we'll be anticipating Ether as well. So that's for Ether. Then next on, we are going to be looking at XRP. We're going to be looking at XRP. So XRP doing really nice, has been showing signs of, which is really good, in that area for a very long time now, for XRP. Excuse me. Okay. So sorry, this is to load up, but it's definitely going to be loading up. So okay.
Sometimes we always happen to be an incidental victim of being Nigerians
So we are
when
seeing
we have
that
to
this
battle
loading
with
up.
network.
Let it load up. It is the XRP at 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame for XRP. So I don't know why it's taking time to load up. I guess it's my network, but so for XRP as well, just go on for XRP as well. We are anticipating bullishness for XRP. So from here, we are seeing that even if you look from the past data, you see this area, this $2 area has been holding perfectly, has been holding in time past. Let me just draw this out. So that area, so firm level of support, and now we are saying price is looking, trying to push to the upside. So our reaction area is somewhere around brush. So our reaction area is somewhere around this area. So once price pushes up to that area, I'll be expecting the bearishness or sellers to come back. Good is a good sign of buyers and sellers behavior. But look really, really well, you see actually turned into a range from $2.30 to $2 nine. Let's just call it $2 or the $2 range, the $2 support. So that buyers and sellers has been they have been battling within this range. We are seeing build up. We are just saying that there are certain odds that have been building up for for major upside move, which might happen this week. But we are seeing that as buyers are coming, they are not coming in as strong. So for price gets to this resistance, sellers to take back their battle or to take back authority to push prices back down. So XRP. So then for let's look at let's look at BNB. Okay, BNB USD 4-hour time frame as well. Still loading. Okay, so it is trying to push, the market generally is pushing to the upside. So why? Because Bitcoin is the big boy. Bitcoin is pushing to the upside, and that is, they are trying to push up. We are also seeing that, just like I said earlier, we're also seeing that Bitcoin is gradually beginning to grow weak, meaning that okay, there's is some form of similarity with or is kind of correlating closely with Bitcoin itself. That is Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. They are correlating in a set. So right here as well, we are seeing BNB is bullish after bouncing from this 640 dollar support zone. So the zone has held nicely in the past, has held one, has held two, and this is the third time it's holding and it's still pushing to this next reaction point, which is at somewhere around 668. Let me use the brush again. So we actually anticipate price to reach up to this area by sometime this. It can happen today and tomorrow, but depend on the liquidity that flows into the market, depending on how buyers will be coming in. This is the next reaction point I anticipate that price will hit this week, which is somewhere around 76.65, around that zone. So I expect this wave to come all the way to this area and then for us to hit price, to hit the prices back. Yes, that's for BNB. Then for Solana, which is the last of the top five, Sol. Quickly look at Sol as well. So the market is highly correlating. We are seeing bullishness in the, as I'm here a trader speaking to other traders, if you're buying this market, make sure you're careful, you're sticking to your rules, not just to rush and start chasing prices. So we are seeing that Solana has been reacting $150 or 150, you can call it a zone or a support as well. This is nicely. So the demand zone has held. Let me use this rectangle. So the demand zone at this $150 area has held nicely, which is really good. So our next area to look out for, is this $168 area around here. But this looks really good. We might actually see a breakup of that 68 area. So we might actually see something like this, and then price to challenge, and then we might actually see price coming back down. So we are looking at market is bullish, looking bullish this week, but that doesn't mean we, just like I said earlier, that doesn't mean we are in the clear yet. There are still reaction points, there are still resistance points we need to watch out for. So in as much as you're going to be taking those your light trades, not for investors as well, except you're holding long term, but as a trader, you know you should be looking at just short term buys, your 5%, your 10%, probably depending on how, probably if it's a small cap, you should be looking at probably a 10%, 5% move if you know what you're doing as a trader. So make sure you stick to your rules and invest and trade smartly. Thank you very much. Over to you, the smart investor.
I was wondering if our viewers were able to see how we're able to price in macroeconomics and also with the technicals. And this is how we always do a 360-degree market analysis. And this is how we're able to have more like a holistic view and trajectory of where the market will go next. We talked about how last week's CPI numbers was very positive, and then we put on the board what are the chances of these three scenario playing. The first of all was a rate hike that we entirely took off the board. The next thing we'll look at is a pause, and we priced in 80% chance that it is rather a pause, and then only a 20% that we are going to have a cut. And if you look at what's happening, we also said how much a pause is still positive, and it's going to be some alts, have some upside momentum. And if you look at the market has bounced from that range and is headed into an upside position. And we have some resistance we're going to test. If you look time, I would have said you go back to the BTC chart. And we have resistance we're going to test even in BTC and some other alts. And we are going to,
Yes,
we won't break out of that resistance if we don't have a rate cut. You guys understand?
exactly,
We won't break out of the
exactly.
resistance level if we don't have that cut. However, if we have a cut, we are going to break out of that resistance level. But the chances that we'll have a cut is just 20%. But the chances that it will be a pause is 80%, meaning we are going to get into that, like the market will drive us into a momentum that will take us to that resistant level, and then there'll be some reaction point and some drawdown, and you could see some spillover that happens also with alts. You understand? So heading into
Yeah,
this week, it means that we have some trading opportunities to take. And for those of you who are traders, at our premium channel, it means you should anticipate some profitable trade setups, you should take at this week. And of course, you manage your risks because we also have some resistant level we will test. And also for those who are also positioning for the last move we anticipate the market is going to make, we're still accumulating assets, with high upside potential and little downside risks at the premium channel. And those of you who are also interested in joining, finding out what we're doing at the premium channel, you could also take advantage if you want to take advantage of the last move we think the market is going to make. The premium channel is where you should be. And also, if you are listening to us and you want to get started with the cryptocurrency market, we have something we are going to give you for free. beginner's guide to cryptocurrency, where you understand entirely what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is, wallet, and also exchanges in the most simple form. We took away the jargon that comes with this market. You'll see this
Mm.
in the most simple form. But to know that you are serious to take this course, what we do to let you into that course is join our Discord community. After you join our Discord community, sign up with our partner exchange. We know you're serious, we give you access to this course, and then you get started, you know. And I think that's almost us for now. And without further ado, Mr. Anthony, you have some final words for us before we call it a day. But before then, let me check the comment section. Let's shout out to a couple of persons. Let's see. We have a maker right here. A maker say, "Good to be here. I love what you do, sir. Thank you, Smart Investors Lodge. We appreciate you. The Smart Investors Lodge wouldn't exist without you. That's why we are also a community." We have Roy Bourne. Roy Bourne say, thank you so much, the smart investor. Yeah, thank you as well. We appreciate you. And he went ahead also to also thank, thank you, Mr. Anthony. Mr. Anthony, that's for you. Cash it.
I'm catching it. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Roy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Roy Bond. All right. Thank you. Or you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, should I still give my final
Okay,
words?
so, oh yeah, go ahead. Give us your final words.
Okay, yes, definitely speaking to traders because there are a whole lot of opportunities that are going to be presenting themselves in the market. Make sure you get the best discounted trades. Doesn't matter if you're a price action trader, doesn't matter if you're an SMC trader or an ICT trader. Make sure you get the best discounts before you take your buys this week. The market definitely presents opportunities this week for you to trade. And that's much from me. Make sure you stick to your rules. Make sure you stick to your rules if you're trading to make the most optimal profit you're supposed to make. So over to you, the smart investor. And one more thing, invest and trade smartly.
You are saying something. You are saying one more thing. Let's have the one more thing.
I said one more thing, invest and trade smartly. Invest and trade smartly. Do your
Yes, sir.
research. Invest and trade smartly. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
All right then. All right, everyone, and that's our time here at Market Watch. But just some very few questions. How do you enjoy the new Market Watch version 2.0? This way we are able to show you, for yourself the three market event we are watching out for. And when we also look at the technicals, you're able to see for yourself with the chart. You look at the data we are looking at, you see the demand zone, you see the supply zone for yourself as well in real time. How are you enjoying the version 2.0 of Market Watch? Feel free, let us know. Give us your feedback on Discord. You can leave your feedback right here on Market Watch. And as well, if you are listening to us live, feel free type live in the comment section. If you are watching the replay, type replay. And regardless, feel free subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that. Share this video with other traders, with other investors. Let them know that the Smart Investors Lodge, this is our market forecast for the new week, and this is always where they will get with a large level of certainty what the market does next. And this is our time. Regardless, we do what we do. We spend our time, sleepless night, and research, putting out this data right there just because we love you. And also, the Smart Investors Lodge is not just a research and analysis firm, it's also a community. And without you, we wouldn't exist. And thank you very much for your time, guys.